The sun dipped behind the hills of Galilee, leaving the water to turn a deep ink black.
Peter gripped the heavy ropes, his knuckles white against the dark fibers. He pulled, dragging the dripping net back over the side of the boat. It felt like dragging a ghost. He shook the mesh, watching it fold onto the deck empty. Not a single silver scale. Not a flicker of movement. He let the rope slip through his fingers, his hands trembling from hours of relentless, fruitless work. His shoulders burned. He leaned over the gunwale, staring into the depths of the lake that had given him nothing all night. The silence was absolute, pressing down on him like a physical weight. He wiped the salt and sweat from his eyes, his breathing ragged and uneven. There was no more strength left to cast again. He turned, his legs heavy, and sank onto a coil of rope against the mast. He stared up at the darkening sky, the wooden hull creaking beneath him as the boat drifted aimlessly in the dead air. He had given everything, and the lake had returned nothing but silence. The morning sun cut through the haze, revealing a mass of people lining the shore. They pushed forward, their voices a low roar that reached Peter where he sat. A man walked toward the water, stepping onto the wooden boat without hesitation. Peter shifted, pushing the vessel slightly away from the sand to clear the shallows. The man sat and began to speak. His voice carried across the calm surface, steady and distinct, cutting through the murmurs of the crowd. Peter watched, his weight balanced against the rocking of the boat. When the man finished, he turned his gaze directly to Peter. He pointed toward the center of the lake. "Put out into deep water and let down the nets," he said. Peter stared at him, his brow furrowed. The sun was high, the time for fishing long past, and the water was clear and still. He let out a long, sharp sigh that vented his doubt into the air. He gripped the oars, the wood biting into his palms. He leaned forward, pushing the boat away from the safety of the shore and toward the dark, open expanse of the center. He rowed, each stroke heavy, fighting the resistance of the water as he obeyed. Peter let the heavy ropes coil into the dark water. The boat drifted, dead in the center of the lake. He stood, waiting, his hands resting on the gunwale. Then the ropes snapped taut. The wood groaned under the sudden, immense strain. Peter grabbed the line, his feet sliding on the wet deck as the boat lurched violently. He heaved, his muscles bulging against the impossible weight. The surface of the lake erupted. Thousands of silver flashes broke the water. A chaotic surge of movement that churned the depths into foam. The nets ballooned, stretching until the fibers began to snap with sharp, popping sounds. Peter shouted toward the shore, his voice straining to be heard over the splashing. A second boat cut across the water, pulling alongside. Both crews lunged for the nets, hands raw and gripping, but the weight was relentless. The vessels began to list, tilting heavily as water spilled over the edges. The deck tilted at a sharp angle. Peter stared at the teeming silver mass filling the space between the boats. He fought to keep his balance as the wood buckled under the pressure of the hull. The lake was no longer empty, it was overflowing. The frantic splashing died away, leaving the lake unnaturally still. Peter looked at the silver mass filling the hulls, then locked eyes with the man who had commanded the deep. The sheer impossibility of the moment hit him. He let go of the nets. He dropped to his knees on the wet, splintered deck, bowing his head against the wood. The weight of the catch was nothing compared to the weight of the moment. A hand reached out, firm and warm, resting on his shoulder. "Do not be afraid," the voice said, clear and calm. "From now on you will catch people." Peter stood, his legs unsteady. He looked at the mountain of fish, the source of his livelihood, then looked toward the shore. James and John climbed out of their vessel, their eyes fixed on the same path. Peter stepped off the boat, his boots sinking into the wet sand. He did not look back.
He left the nets, the oars, and the hull behind. He turned toward the rising hills, walking away from the life he had known. The boat sat empty, swaying in the shallows. He moved forward, his stride steady, following the man who had changed the direction of his life forever. The horizon held nothing but the path ahead.